No! I'm reading the wrong line.
Let's do that again.
Did you know that a lot of amazing scenes from Elemental ended up being cut from the movie? It's normal for every film, especially animated ones, to not include all the created scenes in the final result we see. With Elemental, it was no different, like the scene where we see the Spark being terrified of touching the Wade, because she was definitely embarrassed, but also afraid of getting hurt. The scene actually made it into the film, but it was much less, let's say, complex. That was just one of the 10 incredible scenes that didn't make it into the Elemental movie, and we're going to show you all of the others now. Number 2. Children of Wade and Ember. One thing that crossed everyone's mind while watching Elemental was how Wade and Ember could relate to each other if they feel pain when they touch. And I know you have a dirty mind and also wondered, how would they have children? Someone else had a precious mind and wondered what a child of Ember and Wade would look like. They would resemble people made of air, but made of vapor, which is the state of water when it boils. It would be the perfect mix of water and fire, right? But it's not clear whether the idea came from someone within Pixar or from a fan that Pixar should definitely hire to work in their studios, because the artwork is very well done and cool. In the image, you can see them returning from their honeymoon, which they embark on in the final scenes of the movie. So it would kind of be a lightning-fast gestation, but we don't really know how the dynamics of element reproduction work, so maybe it could actually be possible. Who knows, right?
You're so hot.
Excuse me?
No, I mean like you're smoking. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Are you done yet?
But the coolest thing is that the writers stated that they actually planned something like this to be a post-credit scene in the film. However, they chose not to produce it because they didn't know if the film would be successful and didn't want to disappoint the fans. Number 3. Relationships between other people of different elements. Despite Ember's mother saying that elements don't mix, we see in the movie's story how they can both coexist and fall in love and get married. Besides Wade and Ember, Claude also tries to prove that this is possible, attempting to win Ember's heart as well.
Ow! My queen. Sorry, buddy. Elements don't mix.
Good boy. And the truth is, in the original idea of the film's production, they wanted to show other cases of different elements marrying and forming families. We can see that in this conceptual art developed by artists to be used in the film, where we see a couple consisting of a water man and an air woman. Detail: they have 2 little children, a water girl and an air boy. And further down, we see another couple with a water man and an earth woman, and 2 little children who are a mixture of both, as if they were made of water with a bit of earth. It turned out really nice and would demonstrate a beautiful diversity among the elements. Number 4. Ember would be quite different. As you can imagine, all the characters in Elemental were carefully planned and designed, and over the course of the 7 years of production, that's right, the film took 7 years to complete. Many characters underwent changes, and the 2 main characters deserve special attention, of course, so the artist first created Ember's design. Her face would be narrower, with larger and rounder eyes, and that's when the problem arose. When they put the eyes on her, they realized she looked too scary. So they reshaped her face, making it more rounded and giving her slanted eyes, leading to the final facial design we saw in the film. Additionally, she wouldn't wear a dress, but a top and shorts to help define the shape of her legs. But the idea wasn't approved and was discarded. Number 5. Cinema scene. One of the coolest scenes in Elemental is when Wade and Ember go to the cinema together to watch a movie, and then they take some photos and do other activities together. But originally, the idea was completely different from what was shown. First, in front of the cinema, Wade would be waiting for Ember with a huge bouquet of flowers. Then they would walk through the park, climb trees, and spend time talking and getting to know each other until dawn. That scene would have been really cool.
How'd you do that?
It's the minerals. Check this out.
Awesome!
Number 6. Flaming popcorn and ice popcorn. Since we talked about the cinema scene, there was also a small part of that sequence that was created by the production team but ended up being removed from the final film. In it, we see Ember and Wade sitting in the cinema, he holding his ice popcorn and she holding her flaming snacks. And they're so engrossed in the movie that he ends up tasting the snacks, which was really not a good idea. He lets out a loud scream and puts all the ice pieces in his mouth at once. And that scene is not included in the film, only in the teasers released to promote the movie. Number 7. Wade's design. The 2 main characters that form the couple certainly required the most time and ideas to be created, so several ideas were developed, but only one was chosen. However, the creative team stated that the water character was one of the most complex and difficult to create. The idea was for Wade to be represented as water and not just someone who was wet, so the artist had to take into account even concepts of physics like refraction and reflection, just like real water. The aim was for them to truly resemble water, not glass, which is also transparent. Therefore, we see that Wade could have a wetter appearance, constantly dripping, and a more pointed nose. There was also the version on the cover of the Pixar book with the early concept art, where Wade would have a more prominent and differently colored, white, part corresponding to the hair, which would be slightly curly. In the end, the chosen design had a small tuft of hair with a more rounded face, which we can see in the film. And we have to say, it turned out really cool.
And that is how I draw Wade.
Number 8. Wade and Ember's encounter. Anyone who watched Elemental definitely noticed a huge difference between how Wade and Ember met in the movie and what we expected based on the trailer we all watched. In the trailer, they meet on the subway when Ember's earphones fall and Wade picks them up. A small drop of water falls into Ember's hand and she feels a bit of pain, and then they look at each other.
Sorry.
But in the film, it's completely different, as they meet in the basement of the store where there's a kind of small flood, and Wade literally comes through the pipe and appears to Ember. What's even more interesting is that you can tell that Disney Pixar had different ideas about how this special moment would be, and they ultimately chose this one. Number 9. Ember creating art. In another scene, we see Ember sitting at a desk, almost as if she was in a classroom. She takes a piece of something that is probably superheated glass and blows on it to make it inflate slightly. Then she tries to shape the piece a bit more to make it look prettier, but she fails. Since her head is always hot, she gets frustrated and ends up leaving the small rounded object behind and even knocks over the desk. If I were to guess, I'd say it was an art class and that was her personal project. Number 10. Wade in pieces. Lastly, there's a scene that was removed involving Wade and his work environment. We all know that he's kind of a municipal inspector, which is one of the reasons why Ember's father doesn't like him in the end, even before knowing that he was interested in his daughter. But in the scene that didn't make it into the film, we have Wade arriving at a place through the plumbing, but in a different way. First, the lower part of his body, his clipboard and pen arrive, and then from another pipe, his head arrives and he becomes complete. I think this scene would have confused a lot of people, so they decided to cut it. Those were the 10 deleted and modified scenes from the film Elemental. Comment down below if you've already watched Elemental, and if you like the film, we want to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming videos. Until next time, bye-bye!